Hey, what's up? It's Jim, and I just got back from the new film Parker. It's about the titular character Parker, who is a professional thief played by Jason Statham, who at the beginning of the film is helping out this gang led by Michael Chiklis, also with Wendell Pierce from The Wire and two other guys I don't really know as well. They stick up the Ohio State Fair for money, get out of there, and on their way out of the Ohio State Fair, Michael Chiklis and Wendell Pierce talk about how they want to use the money they got from the Ohio State Fair as seed money so they can go do a huge jewelry heist, and that Jason Statham should be included, and if he isn't, they're going to kill him. This is probably something they shouldn't have brought up, like when they're in the getaway car driving away. So when Jason Statham refuses and just wants his cut, because that's kind of what they originally promised, and that kind of makes more sense. I just don't understand like why they didn't just, ask him before. They try to kill Parker, and they think they have successfully killed Parker, but unfortunately for them, he comes back and he goes and tries to find them while they're doing their jewelry heist in Palm Beach, Florida, where he assumes the identity of this Texas oil tycoon really poorly and badly. It's ridiculous, and he breaks his accent like a lot. I don't know how anyone believed it. And so he does that and meets real estate agent Jennifer Lopez, who helps him find out where their safe house is for their robbery, and then she and him form an alliance so that he can find them, kind of, even though he doesn't really need to, and so she can get a cut and get out of her debt, and he can get his revenge on these guys. Parker is based on a character of Parker who was created by author Donald E. Westlake. They would be inspirations for our two other movies. One is Point Blank, which is an absolute classic, and the other is Mel Gibson's Payback. This is Taylor Hackford's version of that. He said he wanted to kind of try a film noir, which is cute because this film has absolutely no film noir in it. I love when people just try to throw film noir out because I think it sounds really cool, but like they haven't seen Detour or Double Indemnity, obviously, because this is like nothing like a film noir. Just because it's a mystery with a mystery kind of detective assassin thing and there's a scheme doesn't make it a film noir. There's nothing film noir-y even in the least about this film. When you look at Point Blank, that's by John Barrowman, who has, he did Deliverance. He can do an action film, and Taylor Hackford did Ray and An Officer and a Gentleman. He's not someone I think of when I think of action films, and this film's kind of having a fight within itself. This film has Jason Statham in it, and it's not Jason Statham's fault that it's trying to be a genre Jason Statham film, and that's what he's really good at, but it's trying to do that and trying to be something else also. And because Hackford isn't really a genre action director, he messes up things that he's even doing right. Sometimes he'll do something really well, and I think my favorite action sequence of the whole film is when, and you've seen it in the trailer, I'm not ruining anything, is when he fights with the guy on the balcony and you see the guy fall. I'm not spoiled, this is all in the trailer. And that sequence, when you actually see it in the film, is rarely thrilling. I was really surprised by it and I got really into it. And the opening heist sequence where they're robbing the Ohio State Fair was good, but the problem with it is he kept cutting to these flashback sequences, which was done in this weird filter he put on it, which made it look like, a bad TV movie, or that South Park episode with the woodshop teacher, and they kept cutting to his wife who died in a plane crash or something. I mean, it was hard to take seriously, and it definitely ruined anything that was going to happen in that sequence. And I wondered, could someone make a cut of this without all those flashback sequences? It ruined a really great sequence. You can tell through the film he's almost fighting the genre. He's trying not to be a genre filmmaker, and if you just let the genre-ness, the genre actionness of this take over, there were definitely Statham one-liners. There are definitely things that could have just made this a typical Statham film, and I think those elements of the film work. It's just when Taylor Hackford would up kind of the schmaltz and the drama of it all, add in things with Jennifer Lopez's character at one point is getting all sappy in front of Jason Statham and starts talking about how she hasn't seen her sister in 5 years, which is pretty laughable. Interesting that she lives with her mom in the movie and yet she hasn't seen her sister in 5 years. I mean, maybe that's more of a family thing. I mean, is that just her? I mean, I feel like if you live with your mom, she'd probably bring her up and she'd call the house. You might accidentally pick up and be like, oh no, you don't want to talk to me, or I'll get mom. And it came out of nowhere, never referred to again. He put in these dramatic moments that someone who's kind of an idiot and doesn't know anything about action genre would think is adding more drama and pathos and some integrity to this action film. But if you're not an idiot, you can tell it totally is inappropriate, and also most importantly, they were just really stupid and bad moments, and they came off as melodramatic and sappy. They didn't come off with any real drama. Sometimes I complain that there's not enough character development, but this this is just bad character development, and it's character development that didn't really lead to anything. He kept cutting back to the sequence where he gets in the fight in the car with those guys, and then they put like that weird filter that made sure you knew it was a flashback sequence. When they kept showing that sequence, I kept thinking, I saw that. That was in this movie. When Jason Statham looks at Michael Chiklis, you don't have to remind me why he doesn't like him. Like, I already know. I was here for that. Taylor Hackford, he seems to be able to do a good action sequence, even his lesser action sequences in the film, but the film really peters out towards the end, and what you get with Parker is a pretty forgettable, bad action movie that had the wrong director for it. He almost was the right director. I feel like if you cut this right and cut a lot of stuff out, and was maybe 90 minutes. I mean, this is like almost 2 hours, which is ridiculous. This might have worked a lot better, but Taylor Hackford is just kind of too much of a pompous bombast to let this go and let this simply be an action genre Statham movie. It came off as a mostly failed action movie that thought it was better than it really is. So if you have seen Parker and you would like to talk about it, then comment below in the comments and subscribe if you would like to.